Check, 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 check. He says recording in progress. I'm coming to you through Zoom. I'm clicking a few buttons here and I'm going to Chatland Gold. You should be good to go. Check it, boys. That's if you get used to watching my videos at the very beginning. It's mostly because I went to a one screen system and I may go back to two screens, but I was having some issues with my eyes and my vision and getting that working on. Gold and Bitcoin. Don't leave. Should I do Bitcoin first, or should we do gold first? The gold breakout here. YouTube exclusive, client first, YouTube exclusive. So I'll make this video on Saturday evening. It's about 7:30, 9/6/2025. And it'll probably go. It'll be available on Sunday, but we may come up with a different scheme on the YouTube videos. Just make sure you hit your subscribe and your notification bell. 7:35. I got about 20 minutes. And I'm gonna try to keep them to 20 minutes. I can go 30, I can go an hour, I can go 2 hours. I do 3 live rooms right now a week. On Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 a.m. I have client portals and a public channel built on Telegram. Please reach out if you're interested and you're serious. And you can come and participate in either one if the price and everything's right. I was gonna say the price is right, but this is not a commercial. I'm not trying to sell you something, but if you're serious and you want to see the more serious work, not just uh, um, a video with charts. All of this comes with charts as well. I do all the charts, and you'll see them if you're on my Facebook. My Twitter was taken down. I think I showed too much Bitcoin and too much YouTube. So please make sure you subscribe. Videos are going to be coming through here twice a week for you. Macro and then more trade call, trade setups, alts, different things. You'll see all the different markets I cover. Gold breakout. Obviously, there's a trade setup on this pattern break. What I'll tell you about gold, and the reason why I'm doing gold and Bitcoin is because most people assume that if gold, I mean, maybe not everybody, but a lot of the crypto folks expect if gold's going to do that, Bitcoin's going to do that. Bitcoin, gold, the number one Mac Daddy anti-fiat. Uh, Bitcoin supposedly the replacement of that. So you would assume that Bitcoin is going to make a move to what 150, which is they've told everybody. And I've kind of been against that move the whole time, but I haven't really liked this Bitcoin move to, be honest with you, from way below it says it was cheap. The taking over of Bitcoin, the Michael Saylor of Bitcoin showing up and buying all the Bitcoin. My pit has learned how to push the door open into my office and open the door. You better go sit down. And then Mr. Moneymaker on YouTube, and YouTube exclusive said, don't be so informal. But that's just me. We have a pit in the house. His name is Buddy, and he is in some kind of way a crypto dog. He's been a crypto dog for a long time, went on the road stuff. So the trade setup, if you're interested in trading and trade setups, that comes into play with pattern breaks, as you can see what I've done here now. Why do I have that triangle set up that way? Just mainly, I was looking at the wicking down and lined it up with these wicks, and just the way you got three good touches, pretty symmetrical there. Cleared off gold, and then the whole thought process of Bitcoin, gold, crypto tied into Bitcoin. We're going to go to that Bitcoin chart. Gold targets. How would you ever in a million years figure out where gold was going? Well, you could go and check all the YouTube videos and all the gold guys, and there's people, I was just listening to shit, and he was we were talking about the negative jobs numbers that came out on Friday. So that's the most recent data that's come out that has upped the percentages on a rate cut coming up in a couple of weeks. We got inflation numbers coming out. You're basically getting the Feds to go into a reduction cycle at the same time trying to fight inflation with a president and a secretary who doesn't really think much about any kind of problems with creating inflation. They have other things on their agenda. So that's what I'll say here. And gold's been doing this and kind of breaking away from the market for a while. This is just a very strong move. Now, what I'll tell you about patterns and trading, you guys that are traders are looking, watch these for tidbits on how to be successful. Most times these patterns will head fake to the downside and then go the other way. So most times this is what will happen. They'll go that way, they'll go that way, and then they'll go that way, and then they'll go that way. So you have to be careful with that. And I was kind of sneaky suspicion after they sat here for a while that they were going to dip it first. They do love to go the other way, and it is it's a an edge in so many ways. But as you can see on this one, if your total thing was to wait on that and you weren't going to buy any until you got it, then the trade's gone. You don't have to worry about it. You got to go find something else. Pretty good pattern break, and you can see as they broke here. If I go into the lower time frames, they gave you some time to get in. If you understood that they were breaking and you trusted that they were going to break and go higher, they gave you plenty of opportunity right through here. Now you notice that the trend line that I've got drawn right here is a little bit deeper. It's because it's not really a trend. It's more of a sideways move, and they're just kind of going up. And the way that I think about it, and the way that I'll, if you watch me long enough, I'll teach you is they're taking in orders. So leverage, there's a lot of stuff that goes on with the paper side of this, but you go up and you're clearing levels and you're taking in orders, and then that what happens is there's no orders to eat anything up, and when you take off, it just goes right through. So they do it to the downside too. So you have to be careful when they start punching to the downside. They're taking in orders and they go up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. They probably had a lot of people in leverage short, and that speaks of that move. But this is a fundamental macro kind of asset. So you always have to ask yourself with gold, what in the heck is going on out there? What do we got going on that's making gold do that? And it's been doing it rip from 2000. And you can see, one of the things that I'll teach you guys about is squares. And it gets real deep when we start talking about squares and we start talking about gold, because you can see very clearly the ones that understand that word. And that word will start to do something with it on down the road. If you stick around on the I think I spelled it wrong. Square. I was like, man, it looks wrong to me. Square. It's a place on the chart where they really get going too much, and that this is a fundamental chart, and you can see gold's way up there. So will you ever see gold at 2000? And if you're new to me, or a lot of people that come on YouTube and watch TA people, they think they know a lot, and they'll come and challenge me. And you got to understand what you're challenging before you challenge me on anything that I show you there, because I'm just posting a question right now, because this is a very fundamental chart that is really taking off. And you have to wonder if you're ever going to see gold at 2000 again. But that is a place where they'll normally come back to. And all you have to do is go back to the chart and check what I'm showing you. You'll find places where they take off, and you'll be like, "Man, I found one. You're wrong." Here's a place where they really kind of took off and they didn't come back to. So when they start to take off, they're showing you, especially with gold, central bankers. And I'm about to switch over to Bitcoin, because Bitcoin, I'll tell you, this isn't central banker buying. When I go to Bitcoin, this is central banker buying. This is the BRICS. This is China. This is other countries preparing for what? World War III? The collapse of the dollar? The collapse of the U.S. government? They're just so freaking scared with Trump being the president and what he's going to do to everybody. Just went and bought gold. And what are the targets? Now, if I go into a video or a section where I'm trying to show you targets, that's what people are that's what people learn about, and that's lessons. And I can tell you right here on this one, it's going to come, and it's going to take a lot, because this chart is wild. Right through here and right there, I know that there's some Fibonacci's, and that's the main tool that I'll use. There's some Fibonacci's through here that will set up, start to work on the math and start to, dang it, that thing froze, and start to work on, hey, where do I think they're going? With gold, I tend to use a bigger leg, and you can see I'm already on the weekly charts. I'll go through the monthly, because this chart is just absolutely crazy, straight up, and it's very difficult for a chart man. So when you come to a chart like this, if it's perplexing to you what to do with it, you've got to kind of learn to do what I'm showing you here. You've got to learn to have tools. You got to learn, one of the tools I'll use over and over, and basically I'll tell you, is I'm a Fibonacci man, the math, and that's what I mean, and that tool and that Fib extension and that full leg of money right there. No, I don't have it perfect, but I'm looking at what it's giving me. I see some price action in the middle of price discovery. So to me, that works. That's a pretty significant Fib. and then they get stalled at the one. And look, they show us that that's not that important of a fib. Now, you probably, if you've been watching me with gold, have never seen me show it quite this way, because there's a lot of different ways you can show it. Now, what I'll do is I'll clear it, because it begins to be where you can do a lot of stuff, and I can show you, because there's definitely a pattern break right there. The push at the bottom, and then you go up where that red shows up, and you start to work Fibonacci's, and that 1.27. And this is a little bit more detailed and a little bit more advanced, and you would have to watch a while and have somebody really kind of hold your hand and train you, and have somebody do video after video about stuff like this to really trust it and understand it. But you can see I move up into 4,200 on this move, on this pattern break. What's my goal target? I was beginning to feel like 6 or 7. If you go listen to Peter Schiff, you're going to get 10. I think a world where 10 is really, you got to wonder what's going on. But you do have negative jobs numbers coming in. I'm trying to I'll get frustrated. I want to change the color, but it keeps popping the same box up in front of me, so I can't do it. No, I want to change those. Get stuck. There we go. I want those to be different so you can see. One of the things is the 1.27 here on that full leg of that last gold money. And that becomes a really significant area right there to me, that 3,000 to 45. A lot of people think we're going up in these next regions. I do feel like there needs to be another pattern set up, and they just set up one, so you could pull some fibs from there as well, but you're only going to go up in about, in these 40, 45. And then the rest of it gets very fundamental. You can see 6, 7, 8, and I think that's about the 10 minutes on gold. And I'm wondering if I should have started this with BTC, but I think for what we're doing on the YouTube, there's not a lot of energy out there. As I roll up the board and you see all the alts I cover. In the next video, I'll have alts in it. We'll kind of rotate micro. Some of these videos will have alts in it too. As you can see, NMR, which is an AI old school coin, pretty good bounce as I'll move back into the lower time frames. They get really good bounces on percentage. There isn't so many ways to trade there. And what I'll tell you is time frame 4 hour and that green. Is that a trade? Can you count on that happening? Can you make that trade and get in and out and make some money? You gotta be careful. There's a square up there. I just mentioned that on that other coverage I did. There's not a lot going on. We go right back into very quiet so far on a Saturday night. The weekends have been pretty dead. Not a lot of movement. There's a lot of Caspa shield coming through on Facebook. Interesting. It is on Twitter, but my Twitter's down for right now, so I'm not so hip on. Well, it's a little harder to follow the shield, and it's definitely harder to shield coins for 20, 40%, which you'll catch me doing often on Twitter, but I'm gonna have to rebuild all that. Just showing coins and pushing them, and it's amazing what can happen on there. I said too much. 43%, that's a liquidity situation there. We're going up to BTC before your gunslinger of all the markets of the world, metals, crypto, forex, stocks. You'll catch me doing stocks, oil, all of them gets distracted. And then we look at BTC and we think about BTC and gold, and we think about the gold move. And what most people feel like who follow Bitcoin is that if gold's going to do that, Bitcoin's going to come in here and rip it at 150. And I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I'm still kind of in the camp that's not what happens. In so many ways, because these crypto markets are moving risk on, risk off, and not a safe haven like an anti-fiat like. And Bitcoin's made its run because of BlackRock and ETFs and all kinds of stuff, and Sailor and all that. So you have to be really careful, even though it does open it up. All the green lights are that we go to 150. This could be a trick, and we could go back up into that 120, 124. We may even pop the top to take out stops, and it's over. To me, the 125 to 150 is a total BTC trap, Trojan horse. You don't want to mess with it. If you've got your BTC, have some decisions. If you want to trade right here, we could go round and round about what you should do. It's not a bad leverage spot, is what I'll tell you. but you can see on this time frame, which is a 3-day, there is another level they could go down. And yeah, this goes a little bit deeper. You can notice that they've been down there 3 times before. It usually takes them a while to get there. They've kind of moved down a pretty good steep ways, but it would take some more volatility to get down in there. That would correct Ethereum. And that's why this goes a little deeper, because you'd have to understand that Ethereum really needs a correction, and why Ethereum BTC, which is some of the videos and stuff that I do that's more private. But you may have caught some videos where I do Ethereum and Ethereum BTC. All the pieces are combined together, even gold, as you see. And not to understand this means you don't understand crypto and you're gambling, or you're specific and you just want, I want to make some money on a leveraged BTC trade. Not a bad spot. And, especially with the sentiment and what a lot of people expect, you would think they would come in green here. And even if they're not going to go up to 150, they would trap money from this spot around 110 to 120, 130. A lot of people feel like if 108 is breached, the bear's here. I honestly feel like 100 has to be breached and the bear's here. If they continue to go down and they breach 100 and print some candles, um, I don't feel like that with this little bit of move that they've done, because they really haven't went anywhere. They were at 109 and now they went up to 124. If they come in and they test this green one again and they get the printing some candles up under here and really bust this 100, you have really got to think about the top is in. The folks that are calling the top up here are just, fly by nighters, one hit wonders who want to be able to run around and say they call the top. It's not going to do you any good. People want right now. I called the top right here, got video on it, Super Bear. Warn people from right here to get out. It doesn't matter if you call the top if people can't take advantage of what you're telling them. A lot of people can't take advantage of this. If they got in here, they probably already sold out waiting for a crash if they were listening to me. I did not like this thing as it cruised up and got everything in the world approved for and got every green light in the world and continued to push, while the alts and the alt season, or the magic alt season, or the alt season that hasn't come, we're so old, we're broke, the ecosystem. And what a lot of us are used to making a ton of money off of has not even pumped anything bullshit. Oh. So I've probably used, I don't know, I forgot. I think it was 735. I think I'm right around 16. And then the last time I made these videos, Dominic said, or the guy that's over me, he said, don't worry about the time, but I think if you go too much over 20 minutes, you lose folks. So what I've got to get you to do is find worth in these videos and a place to engage. And if you've got things that maybe you want me to talk about, without getting too specific, I've got plenty of content. The next video, we'll come back to if there's some energy and there's some trade calls and there's some alts, because that's usually where I'll handpick the moves from. I'll go up to Aave and kind of write the story for you. I'm on the video where Silver and Aave were my calls about 4 or 5 months ago. And to technically finish off the alt season, this thing's got to go. My call, by Monday, no, is about 500 here. Sorry about that. The drag gets me because I like to kind of keep moving in an inflow. It needs to take off right there. Now my call here, and it was a really good video that's out there. It's not on YouTube. We just started the YouTube. Was right around about 150 or so. There's a moving average that went flat here, and I was making videos. I also added AMC, which has a silver thread to it. So the metals are having a commodity cycle, and gold, which I started with, and silver. I'll probably throw some more silver in next video. The trade setup, the pattern breaks, the metals have the cleanest one. I was talking to a fellow today about my Forex work. You will see me do Forex work as well. 2 videos, 20 minutes, and getting this started. I had to do intros and kind of deal with what a macro, what a trade call, what people want, a small YouTube. The last YouTube I had about 10,000 people on it, and we used it different. So that's what I'm going to give you tonight, and I'm going to get this passed over to the fellow that helps me. And are more than welcome to come down and engage and talk to Mr. Moneymaker. You might catch me coming through, but I do a lot of work on Telegram. If you're interested in the Telegram channel, come over and ask for it. Find one of us. Just come in and ask. We got our eyes on this. This is my work, and it's important to me. And Bitcoin is important to me, even though it's left a bad taste in my mouth with BlackRock. And I've been very vocal about it on my social medias in the last 4 or 5 years of my life after I made the Super Bear video at 60 and 70 and told everybody pretty much it was going to 12 which Mr. Capo took and just absolutely wrecked people with shorts. And, it went to 15. So how low do we go? How high do we go? We're going to 150. We're going to break 100. What's Ethereum going to do? We need a correction. We need an alt season, and we need the printers to go differently than what they're doing. Mr. Trump, Mr. Powell are very confused. The jobs numbers are coming in negative. The revision's negative. Recession's been here, and inflation's here too. So we're about to go into an easing cycle with inflation pressures, and they're going to dump Powell. And I think it's going to get rather confusing when Mr. Trump running a Trump-focused market. It can be difficult. Please reach out if you need me. Engage, subscribe, notifications. Talk to Mr. Moneymaker. See you in the next video.